Hey everybody, welcome to day 7. This is the completed day of our Walking with Jesus Daily, our WWJD class. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, I thought it was what would Jesus do? I said, no, my point was to be able to use those letters, but to get you thinking slightly different. Yes, what would Jesus do? Very popular, and everybody knows that. And today's WWJD is very much what would Jesus do, because if you're walking with Jesus daily, you would do what he did. And what he did here in this one, it was give us a new commandment. So we are going to be in John, and we're going to be in John chapter 15 instead of 13 this time. And you're like, whoa, he did it again? And you're like, yes, he did it again. Not to sound like a Britney Spears song. But yes, he did it again. It's John chapter 15 and starting in verse 12. Now, it's not starting in verse 12. That's just where we're picking it up from today, okay? But let me read this to you, and then we'll look through this and see what Jesus is actually saying. He says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you." Now, we can keep reading further. It's beautiful as it keeps going. It's beautiful before this. He then discusses what it's like to be a part of the world in verse 18. But here's the thing, because we've studied this a little bit. But we are baby stepping into the shallow end of the children's pool, and it's nice and warm, and it still feels kind of good. But we're going to be asked hard questions, and Jesus is going to give hard commandments. Now, the last time that he gave a commandment, he was questioned. What is the greatest commandment? By the scribes. And he answered very wisely, is to love God with your whole heart, mind, soul, and strength. That basically means with everything that you have, every ounce of your being, that your love is not shared with anything else. That is the foundation of our walk. You're like, Dan, that's impossible. I say, yes, I know. But it's possible with God. If you ask him and you truly want to, he tells us that he'll draw near to us when we draw near to him, James 4:8. But even a bigger verse is where he says, when they seek me with their whole heart, they will find me. And we've talked about being disciples of so many different things, but to be his completely is a big deal. And that means you got to find him and look for him. And he's not hiding from you. He's actually standing right in front of you. You just keep looking in the wrong direction or looking for the wrong thing. Okay? This is what we're going to study today. He says, this is my commandment. He doesn't say commandments. He doesn't say these are my commandments. He says this, singular, is me, commandment, period. Low dot. All right? He says that you love one another. Now, if he had just stopped at that is wide open for whatever you want to say. Okay? People love spending time in the church reading their own interpretations. Well, interpretations are really meaningless and worthless, and a great way to start religion and division. That's not what Jesus meant for the church. The entire church was supposed to be unified in his name, in his teaching, in his words. And it requires no one to tell you what it means. If Jesus had said, my commandment is love one another, we would all try to figure out how to do that. And everyone would love differently, because everybody actually, believe it or not, sees, views, and experiences love differently, because we define it in our own ways. He says, as I have loved you. I want you to go love other people in the exact same way that I loved you. All snap. Now we got something big happening. We have Jesus commanding us to love like he does. So we stop to think, well, how does Jesus love me? Sacrificially, selflessly, completely? How in the world Can I love somebody like Jesus? Never leaves my side. He's constantly with me. He believes in me. He trusts me when I'm not trustworthy. He picks me up when I'm constantly falling down. He tells me good job when it's really not a great job. He says if you're yoked with me, I'm going to help you out. It's not hard. I'm the one pulling. And you're like, what does it mean to be yoked? Okay, let's put it this way. If he asks you to carry the cross, okay, he's probably asking you to carry the portion of the cross that is like a splinter, while he bears the rest of it on his beaten body that is glorified in beauty and power and spirit. He just wants you to go with him, to walk with him. That's what he's asking. So how do we love like this? Well, he's going to give a little bit of an example. He says, greater love has no one. So there is no greater love for a person than this. Jesus is helping us out again. He's defining what he's saying if we just read it. That someone lay down his life for his friends. We say a lot about these things. I'd take a bullet for that guy. I would definitely die for my children. I would die for my best friend. If they needed something and I was there to be able to do it, I would gladly die for them. I love them so much. Nowhere in this sentence is the word death used. It says lay down his life. What does it mean to lay down your life for your friend? Well, what did Jesus do? Because he said that's how we're supposed to love, right? That means serve. That means give up your own selfish things. Give up what you want. Give up what you think or desire. That's what it means. To lay down your life for your friends means a life that you were living that was once for yourself is no longer for yourself. That means you are selfless and sacrificial. That means you will stop at nothing for the love of Jesus to be seen in every part and every aspect of your life so that that person might be won over. That's what laying down your life for your friends means. And then he just blows this whole thing up in 14. You are my friends if you do what I command you. May we do what Jesus asks and commands us because we are his friend. He is love. He is our God. He is our Savior. The question today is, are you the friend of Jesus? If Jesus calls you his friend, therefore laying down his life for you, and he already did, before you even knew him, before you understood what you were reading, this is what Jesus did. He died for you. He said, I don't care if enter name here loves me or ever gets to know me. Not that he doesn't care. Let me rephrase that. Even if Daniel never finds me, I want him to, but even if Daniel never finds me, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up on this cross and I'm going to die for him. I'm going to love him completely, even if. So here's the beauty of this. Jesus already calls you his friend if you keep his commandments. And again, he says, what I command you. And what is his commandment? To go love one another like he does. Lay your life down at the feet of Jesus because he's your friend. You see how this circles back to being his friend? People say all the time, I will die for so-and-so. But whoever says, I will die to myself and lay down my living life to serve and love you like you have loved me? It's a great question. It's great to think about, and I could literally talk about it for about another hour. But I'm going to let you guys digest. I'm going to let you guys read a little bit before and after and see what this means to you, because I'm trying to keep these recordings around 10 minutes. I love you guys. I can't wait to dig into this more. Have a great one.